Hello everybody, today we will be installing Simple Machines Forum through Softaculous in our control panel. So the first step is you want to open up your Softaculous, so you'll log into your cPanel and find the Softaculous icon. Depending on which theme your hosting provider is using, it is likely under the Software/Services section you'll see here, but it could be in a different location, so you just want to locate that icon there and go ahead and click on that. And you'll see that will bring up the Softaculous page. And for the Simple Machines Forum, you can usually find that in the top scripts here. So you'll see here it is, SMF. Or if it's not listed there, you'll come over to the menu here on the left side and you want to find Forums. And then click the little arrow there, and you'll see it right there. So then you'll go ahead and click on that. And that's going to pull up the Simple Machine Forum page. And there you have it. You'll see a little description, the version and so on, and you'll see an install button right up here. So once you've clicked the install button, you should see the software setup page. And it can look a little daunting, but don't worry, it's pretty simple, and we'll walk through that. So the first thing you'll see under there is choose protocol. And that's just going to be HTTP, so you can leave it as the default. Now if you're familiar with that, you may select like HTTPS if you're using a SSL certificate or that sort of thing. But for a normal install, you'll just leave it as HTTP. Next you'll see choose domain. And what that's for is if your hosting provider allows you to have multiple domains hosted in the same account, you'll see in that drop down you can select between the different domains you have. You'll also see if you're like creating a subdomain. So you may have, say, forum.domain.com. Then you would see the subdomain listed in there, so you would select that. Now in our case we've only got the one domain, so we'll leave it as is. Next below that you will see indirectory. And this is the part that's usually most confusing for people. What it's actually asking for is a folder name. So for example, if you leave it as the SMF that it's got in there, then it's going to be, say, domain.com/SMF to get to your new forum. So in a lot of cases you'll want to delete that, leave it blank if you want it just on the domain itself, or if you want something like forum, you can put it there and you'll have then domain.com/forum. So the next thing down you'll see database name. You can leave that as the default that Softaculous fills in. Now if you do have more than one domain, as we were discussing up here, then you may want to change that and make it something, associated with your domain, so that then if you have to ever go back and do like restores or anything like that, then you can always know which database goes with that forum because it'll have the name. Now in our case we've only got one domain, so it's obvious because we'll only have one database. So that part is straightforward. Below that you will see board settings. So under the board settings, these are for the most part just personal preferences, however you want to set the site up. So you'll see board name. This is going to display at like the top of your page once the forum's installed. So you'd put whatever your site name is, or domain.com forum, something like that as the name for your forum. Then you'll have board email. That is going to be basically like the admin email for the forum. So your email address there. When new posts, or when someone's complained they want to post moderated because of violating your terms of service or something like that, those sort of notifications will go there. In addition, it'll send out emails for like people that join. It'll show it coming from that email address as well. The next thing down will be table prefix. Again, much like the database name up here, the table prefix you can pretty much leave as the default. You don't really have to change that at all. You can if you want to. If you're familiar with that, then you may want to change it, but I just leave it as it is. Not a problem with leaving it as the default there. And then moving on down, you'll get to the admin account. And this is going to be the account you'll use to actually log into like the back end to moderate, to remove users, or anything you have to do like that. Change the layout, add additional categories, that sort of thing. So you'll go ahead and create an admin username. You can leave that as admin. Now I usually recommend changing that because obviously admin is something that is pretty standard and easy to guess, so you'd want to make it a little more complicated if you can. And then the password, you definitely want to change that to something a little more secure. You can also use this key right here and it will randomly generate a unique password for you, which is good. And then here you'll have real name, and basically that's going to be showing up in the forum. So if, say, you make a post with the admin account, it's going to have your name under there essentially. So you can leave that as administrator if you want to be a little bit of an, a little anonymous, or you can put in your real name if you wanted to. And then the next one, you'll see the admin email address here. And that you want to use your email address. You can use the same as the board email if you want to, or you can keep it separate. That way you could actually go in and make posts with the admin account, and it won't show up. Those emails for new members are going to see that email address here. So sometimes you may want to put, like, say, info@yourdomain.com, and then here use your real email address. But that's pretty much up to you. Below that you will see choose language. So the SMF Simple Machines forum, it does come in multiple languages, so you can actually install it in a different language if you want there. We'll go ahead and keep it in English though. And just below that, depending on the version of Softaculous you have, you may see this advanced options. And what this is for is if you check that, it's not going to email you when there's updates to the forum. So it's a good idea to not mess with that. You want to leave that unchecked because you want those email updates. Essentially what that does is it sends you an email anytime a new version comes out, so that you can then log into Softaculous and tell it to update. And it's good to update because a lot of times when they do release those new versions, it's to correct things like security holes or major issues like that is why they'll release those. So you do want to make sure to update. And then below that you'll see the install button, but we'll skip over that real quick and cover this here. So this email installation details too. You can put in your email address again here, and essentially what that allows is it's going to send you most of this information that you filled in above. So it emails that to you so that you can keep that, have a record of it. You can always go back to that email, check if you forget certain things. So it's usually not a bad idea to go ahead and put in your email address there. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and click on the install button. And you'll get a page much like this. It's going to show you the percentage of the install. It'll usually take it just a moment to go through there and install everything. As you can see, it's gradually going up, and there it jumped quite a bit. Usually a minute or two at the most, and you'll have everything installed. Okay, and you can see once it completes, you'll get a message like this that says, congratulations, the software was installed. And then you'll have two links there. It's going to have the link to where you installed the forum, so your domain or your domain.com/forum or whatever it may be, and then an administrative URL that you'll want to save because that's where you'll go to log into the admin area. And so once you've got those two links, you can go ahead and log in, and your forum is ready to go. So you can start adding categories and start having visitors posting topics.